Okay, we're out here at the Empire of Junk, also known as my backyard. Got something interesting going on today though. Hey Roxy gonna be on the camera today. Got the old 13-letter John Deere spreader started up today. This thing took a dump on us when I was trying to plant my wheat. I got my wheat planted, turning out pretty good so far, it's not bad. But anyway, I made one pass with this thing and it just quit running. It quit fueling. So it's dead in the water. And if you've ever been around a 40-20, you can't tow them because you lose all the hydraulics out of the steering, especially when they leak like this one does. So, also, when I parked it, this tire went flat. So I had to air the tire up. And I kept thinking, I've got to pull the injector pump because I put new filters on. I've got good flow. I've got good fuel up to the pump. The only thing I can imagine happened is something seized up on the throttle or the metering valve in the Master pump. I'll probably talk to my buddy Jeff, since he's an expert on Master pumps. But anyway, I need to get this thing running. There's no need for it to sit out here and just turn into a rust pile. I could use it for something here and there, driving post, and maybe even feed cows if it'll start and run. But anyway, I just put brand new batteries on it, which I don't know if you've bought batteries for a 40-20 lately, but man, them things are high. Anyway, I want to show you the process here. I'm basically hooked up on the casting. I don't think it's going to hurt the tractor. Basically right now we've got the pivot of the chain. The chain is giving me a little bit of clearance, not much. I can't turn very sharp. So the old winch truck works good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse the winch. I need to adjust the clutch on this truck. I'm going to let the tractor down right there. So by letting the clutch out, I can let it down. Now, I'm going to turn my brake on the winch. I'm going to kick the dogs out. I'm going to go ahead and make sure it kicked out. I didn't hear it, so yeah, it did. So now I'm going to hit forward. I'm going to pull up a little bit. See if we can't get that a little bit better in line. But I got my winch brake working so I can control the payout on the spool so it doesn't just run away from me. So now I'm going to kick the dog back in and kick the dog. We're going to let that engage. Whoop, wrong pedal. I'm going to use the winch to kind of let it engage because it will, there it went, heard it click. Alright, so we're going to let this truck roll back to the tractor, or the tractor's going to come to us. Well, I'd rather try to meet up with the tractor, so trying to keep my cable kind of tight so it winds up a little better. This is probably not the recommended procedure for moving a John Deere that you can't steer. But it is a power shift tractor, and I did put it in tow mode. There's a lever on the tractor, I'll show you if we get it where I want it. I kind of like to put it in my shop. Now here's where we're going to start hearing some noises. That's pretty near dead center. Okay, and I kind of like where it's at. It's So now I'm gonna put my winch in neutral, and then we're gonna try to ease this old John Deere in the shop. I got me a tow truck finally. This actually is working way better. If I didn't have that, if it wasn't for the loader frame on this tractor, this would not even work. But I've got pretty good control of that tractor by myself. I can even turn pretty short. You might say, what could go wrong? Well, we might find out. I'm not going to get in any hurry. I'm in low deep reduction gear on my 13 speed. So this is as slow as this truck will go, idling. I mean, this is a cool truck. This thing fired right up today. Of course, I had to jump start it because I got a bad battery. Run across the cattle guard here, but you can't steer that John Deere when it's dead. And I really don't want to pull the pump off out in the pasture. I may have it apart for a couple of days. I may not even have to take the pump apart. I'm going to try to open it up and see if I can get the see if I can figure out if it's a metering valve or if it's a supply issue. But it was running one day really good. The next day I went out there and started up, and I mean, that thing just acted like it was starving for fuel. So I thought, well, I'll go get a fuel filter. Went and got a fuel filter, put it in there, primed it up, made sure that I got plumb full of diesel. The line's clear back to the tank. So I couldn't see anything, you know, that I couldn't see any reason why it would not run. Working pretty good though. I don't think that's going to hurt the front axle of the tractor. If it does, John Deere, well, they should have built them heavier. Anyway, I got to try to get this maneuvered into the 12-foot wide shop door. I could possibly do this with the front end loader on the backhoe, but it's kind of hard to do. I mean, it's kind of hard to get any control on it. I mean, the tractor basically has no brakes and no steering, so you're just kind of, you know, I think this is a good way to do it. I'll hit reverse. Just like backing up a trailer. Should be able to set her right in there where I want it. I don't know. I'd kind of like to get it running. The tire doesn't leak just super fast, but at least if I got it in the shop, it's easy to air up once in a while. Might be getting a little close to that door there. That's one thing about this International is my mirrors are not the greatest. Easy, buddy. I don't like that. I'm going to pull up here and get straighter. I can't really see what's going on. Shoot, we could take that John Deere for a ride about 60 mile an hour down the highway. Well, maybe 50. This truck ain't very fast, but what she lacks in speed, she makes up for with lots of torque and a killer winch. I've been thinking about this for a few days. How am I going to get that tractor in the shop? And today I finally decided this is how I was going to do it if it would work. So two purposes for the truck is I aired the tire up with it and then turned her around and looky there. Just sucked it right up on the back and took off. That's probably far enough. So now we're going to put the winch in reverse and we'll let her down. Got like a new little oil on my roller. Whoop. I'm going to give her a little slack and then I'll just unhook it. Alright, truck brakes are set. Never can find a matching pair of gloves, seems like. I may not have enough slack to pull that loose. Oh yeah, perfect. All right, now we can pull this out of the way. Come on. All right. Just wanted to move it a little bit, get some mud off the tires. All right, we're in reverse and high range now. Yeah, that's high range reverse. You can move a little quicker in high range. Anyway. This old 290 small cam will roll some coal. In case you haven't seen. Oh, but ain't she a dandy? Yeah, I've got to get a new battery. This one about melted. Alright, I'm trying to get this pump apart. Or what I want to do is pull the cap off of it, and I'm not sure I can even get it out of there, but I've got this tube out of the top of the breather tube out of the top of the manifold. Or what is that called? Anyway, I've got to cap off the fuel line because this thing's leaking. And I don't remember if I thought it had a fuel shut off, but I don't know. I'm not seeing one, so it may have gotten deleted. I should know all this stuff. I used to work for John Deere back in the old days, but apparently I'm slipping. That's not even the right size cap. This is the wrong size too, isn't it? Yeah. Huh. Anyway, actually it ain't leaking that bad, so. But you can tell that I did have diesel. Because diesel was running out of the pump when I got these bottom two screws loose. That back one, you can't get a socket on it. And you can't get a good angle on it for a screwdriver. So, and my fingers just about too big to get in there. So I will say I'm most likely going to have to pull this pump off, but this is just something I want to check. If I could get it running, well, probably need to pull the pump off and rebuild it. It was acting up a little bit. I think the governor ring in it, the rubber piece is deteriorated again. This pump's been rebuilt a couple times. Thinking it probably needs a new bushing like Jeff put in his Rooster Master. I think this one's probably beyond repair, but I've actually put seals in this one once. It was years ago. Had it running pretty good for a while, but it's one of those tractors that just doesn't get used enough for somebody to pay attention to much, so. We used to use this thing pretty regular, almost, you know, for putting up hay. It was the main tractor for a long time. Used to have all the glass in the cab. I think my dad still got all the glass for it. Had a water cooler on the top of it. If you've never ran a tractor with a water cooler, you're not missing nothing, but they are better than the heat, that's for sure. I mean, I might actually get that one out of there. Yeah, I got it loose. I know I'm gonna be pulling this pump off here. I don't know why I'm even messing with this, but I don't really want to pull it off today. I had so much fun pulling this thing in the shop with the old International that it's just hard to top that, man. If you in fun. That old winch truck, looky there, that one ain't tight. That old winch truck neat. I mean, it's just absolutely a gem. Pretty rough old truck, but for what I got in her, she's good. Someday, well, I say it, there's always a project. I always say someday I'm gonna fix that old truck up and I'm gonna get it where you can run it down the road. I wouldn't count on that one going down the road for a long time, but all right, there's only three screws hold this cap on there, I believe. And then we should be able to pull it loose. Ah, see what's in the bottom there? Pieces of rubber. That's the governor ring, vibration dampener. When those things come apart, that's what they do. They just get everywhere. Okay, now this pump's full of crap. I don't think I can in my pretty sure I can't do that. It's gonna have to come off the tractor. All right, I see the metering valve, I think. Let's see if it's stuck. No. Metering valve's moving. So that tells me we've got an issue kind of like what Jay Pater had on his crane, only this was running when it started. I mean, it was running, it died, and that's it. So pump's got to come off. I'm gonna go ahead and put this cover back on with a couple screws just to keep crud out of it. But so in the near future, I'll probably be putting up a video about how I'm rebuilding a Rooster Master. John Deere green. Kind of funny, Jeff's was on International. But these pumps were used on, oh shoot, millions and millions of different applications, and they're a good, I mean, they're a decent pump. They're not as good as a Bosch inline. They're not near as good. Those old things are just almost indestructible, I think. But my dad had one in a 2470 that lost it started missing. It had a piston went bad in it. But I haven't seen very many of those things fail. Them things are just gold. But these things here, the best thing about these is they are simple. I mean, if I can fix one, just about anybody can fix one. Will I fix it right? Yeah, I don't know, maybe. Maybe not. I'm not an injection pump repair shop, and I will say this, we've sent this pump to a repair shop one time, and I don't think they did anything to it. It came back running just as bad or worse than it did when it went in there. Not going to name the name of the shop, but I think we spent about $750 getting it rebuilt. Or my dad did, I didn't, but anyway. I can't remember what year tractor this is. It's an earlier one, so it don't have the nice console hydraulic levers like everybody wants. It's got them up on the dash. But when I was working at John Deere's when my dad bought this, and we took this thing in the shop, and I actually went through and we put all new seals in the power shift, and we went through it and looked it all over. We turned the pinions around in the differential so that they had a new gear to work on. So power shift has always been in good shape on this tractor. It's always worked great. Back when we used it a lot, it got the oil changed on it really regular. So, like I say, it's just when you get a better tractor or something that's nicer to run, you kind of let this old stuff get neglected, and it's a shame, but that's how it happens. Anyway, I think I'm gonna have to plug that diesel line off, or it's gonna sit there and drain all the fuel out of it all over the floor. Anyway, this will probably be a pretty short little video, but hope y'all enjoy it. I sure did. I wanted to drag it in the shop with the old case, but the problem with the old case is I couldn't have steered this. There's no way to steer it when it's dead in the water. The way these things were made, they're totally hydraulic power between the steering box and the front axle, and the front axle has pistons. They will steer for a little bit if everything is really tight, like if everything is in new condition. You could steer one for just a little bit and it should hold and stay straight, but the problem is I think we've got some leaks. I think we've got some leakage in the pistons up in the front, so we don't have good control there. So like I say, next best option is you put your 1974 International 4300 on the front and you just winch her up on there and take off. Work good. Another thing I was going to show you, this thing needs a good cleaning. This power shift model, there's a lever here that says tow, and I may have to get it moving just a little bit to shift it back, but you don't want to tow a power shift without moving that forward. This tractor also has the master clutch, disengages the power shift for cold weather starting, because the power shift has a lot of drag on the system. So John Deere's solution was they put a master clutch, and this disengages everything in the back. The problem with it is if you run that engage very long, it also stops the charge pump, which feeds the main hydraulic pump. So the way that's supposed to work is you just pull that engaged until you get it running, and you instantly shift it back forward to make sure your transmission charge pump is moving oil. You want it to always be moving oil. Anyway, John Deere had one of the most complicated, in my opinion, hydraulic systems ever, but they work flawlessly when they work right. But it's just like you take this and next to a 930 or 1030 case, which are made in the same year, this thing's complicated. I mean, the old case is just simple. Anyway, that's one reason I like case tractors, but I'm not gonna knock John Deere too much, just a little bit. Anyway, I need to put a battery charger on it, probably charge the batteries up, because I cranked on them new batteries and they're probably dead. So need to do that and make a video.